I am a man.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. If something I say is an absolute fact, I will make sure that you know it. For the most part, I'm not that much of a fan of wish fulfillment stories. Tales with self-insert characters who are borderline flawless. The Gary and Mary Stews of the world. From James Bond to Ray Palpatine. From Kirito to HBO Max's Vilma. From all the generic action films to all the generic romance movies, it is all so dull to me. Perhaps it's good for mindless watching, but I get enough of that with current content nowadays. Now, I don't want to take any of this away from people that do enjoy it, but there's a reason most dad action films and mom rom-coms are generic. Of course, there are exceptions. My favorite rom-com is Sleeping with Other People because I genuinely enjoy the story being told and the character development involved. It feels very raw and human to me, and I also love Reacher. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Reacher is the most wish fulfillment dad show that I have ever seen. The main character is a ripped, handsome, badass, genius detective who everyone respects and the majority of the beautiful women want to sleep with. If someone came up to me and started arguing that Reacher is a beautiful story of the human condition, I would give them the most deadpan stare that you have ever seen.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I would not suggest this show to people. What separates Reacher from everything else is the execution. This show takes everything good about the wish fulfillment action genre and turns it up to 11. Every single fight is brutal and well choreographed. Every investigation scene is smart and well thought out. The dialogue is snappy and witty. The camera shots are precise and to the point. The characters outside of Reacher himself feel like capable professionals. The emotional pull of justice and revenge is strong, and, most importantly, it doesn't chastise you for delighting in the violence, sex, and witty dialogue. I swear, my least favorite thing about revenge stories is when they make the action really good, but then chastise you for liking it by telling you that it's bad, and implying that you're a bad person for liking it. It just gets on my nerves every single time. If you don't know, Reacher follows Jack Reacher, who refuses to go by his first name or Mr. The show adapts the book series of the same name. Reacher is a decorated army veteran with all of the skills and characteristics you could want in a soldier. He's become a drifter traveling from town to town with no real destination in mind, no goal to achieve, no home to go back to. As he journeys, he ends up helping people in trouble, and when those that he cares about die because of some sort of conspiracy, he pulls out the guns to solve the mystery and kill everyone who dared hurt one of his own. And that's basically it. That's really all you need to know about the story of Reacher.
Of course, it's so simple.
What really helps the series is the John Wick approach, meaning they just go with this absurd premise. John Wick is killing his way through waves of enemies because of the dog left to him by his deceased wife. Reacher is a giant of a man drifting across the country without any cell phone, social media, or even a suitcase. He literally buys clothes every time he needs to change, with his nice fat pension money, of course. He at least uses ATMs, the sole way to track him, and basically everyone pokes fun at him for how absurd that is. His utter terror of commitment and settling down is his greatest flaw, other than the fact that he is a giant man who cannot blend into a crowd if his life depended on it. Of course, his complete fear of commitment and settling down doesn't stop beautiful women from falling in love with him and wanting to get in his pants between deadly shootouts, because of course they want that. Never change, show, but I'm not a prude. Sex sells, and everyone deserves a little eye candy. It's why the actor is shirtless so often. Look, women have to be given something when their men turn this show on, because statistically, women are not the core audience. It's definitely directed towards men. My wife doesn't pay an ounce of attention when this show is on, except to criticize the women's makeup. Apparently to her, the makeup makes them all look old and ugly. Her words, not mine. God, I love her so much. Out of the 2 seasons of Reacher that exist so far, I find the second one to be a little bit more compelling than the first one, mostly because of the characters. Finley and Roscoe have a fun dynamic with Reacher, but they're just getting to know him at the start of the series. Their reactions to him are supposed to be our reactions to him. Bewilderment, awe, intrigue, admiration. They are introduction characters, meant to disappear after the first season except for some cameos and references, because they are stationary in Margrave, but the characters working with Reacher in the second season have a history with him. Members of Reacher's Special Investigations Unit, Neely, who was introduced in season 1, Dixon, the love interest, and O'Donnell, the comic relief. Because they worked with Reacher for years, they have a rapport with him. They joke with him, they reminisce, they tease, they roll their eyes at his drifting ways, and each of them can keep up with him in a fight and in an investigation, even if O'Donnell might trip up every now and then to make the audience laugh and to make Reacher look better. Because, you know, the male characters cannot outdo Reacher in any way whatsoever. That would just get in the way of the wish fulfillment.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
But Neely and Dixon are given a lot more moments to shine, which is nice, because sausage fests are boring. They're both competent and fill in some of the gaps on subjects that Reacher has no knowledge of, mostly anything having to do with technology, social media, numbers, and how to act like a normal person. But O'Donnell is definitely the heart of the season, acting as the emotional anchor with his family. The complete opposite of Reacher, the man who found the love of his life and settled down, living the American dream, happy and content with his place in the world. I love seeing how the family life makes Reacher seem so uncomfortable, despite all of the unprotected sex that he has in the show. Dude, an accidental pregnancy is the fastest way to get nailed down to one location. Just saying. Now, I have focused a lot on the characters because that's what really carries the show. The settings are fine. Margrave, New York, Atlantic City, they're fine locations, and the plot is extremely solid. No plot holes, consistent logic, reasonable chain of events, interesting mysteries, excellent pace, good twists, nice cliffhangers. But I'm going to be honest with you, when an episode is completed, I'd probably struggle to outline more than the start, the fight scene, and the ending. Oh, and a few of the talking scenes where Reacher gets the last word in by revealing that he has killed and plans to kill many people right in the face of different authority figures, and the police or agents just stand there with their thumbs up their ass doing nothing.
May I tell you what I think happened? Alrighty then.
I can't say anything bad about the individual stories of each season, but I can't praise them to high heavens either. Each season is very separate from each other. With the fast pace, witty dialogue, and just vicious action scenes, my dopamine centers were lighting up with each individual episode. I just can't tell you what small mystery that they were trying to solve at that part, who the minor characters are, and what the details of the episodes were. But I had a lot of fun, and you know what? That's great. That's exactly what Reacher is going for, and I can respect it for knowing what it is. Some things can just be plain fun. Some things can just be wish fulfillment. Some things can just be my early morning Sunday watch as I drink my cup of coffee. I'll tell you what, it's good motivation to go to the gym afterwards after seeing that guy. There aren't really any themes, character development, or twists to really praise. I knew how things would generally work out. I knew who would live and who would die. And no, I didn't read the books. It's not my genre usually, but maybe I'll add them to my audiobook list. I always got a physical book that I'm reading and an audio one for chores and video games.
It's a peaceful life.
If I had to describe Reacher, it would be like when I go to a baseball game with my dad. I get a big, fat, greasy cheeseburger, sit in the sands, and enjoy the moment. I can't tell you a thing that happened because I hate baseball, but I love hanging out with my dad, so that makes it a fantastic experience. That is Reacher as a whole. It's just a pleasant time, a dream, a wish fulfillment, and I don't think it needs to be anything more than that. Now, if only I could find another romance story that wasn't just a big pile of dog crap. You're welcome to disagree with all this, that's fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
I love the flavor.
That's spot on.
I love that.
Hey, do you like stories about an interconnected world? Then consider giving my LPCO books a try. They are all connected in some way, but you can jump in at any point, unless it's a series. Then you have to start at the beginning. But I got 3 books out right now and 3 coming next year. You will not have to wait long for content. Either way, thank you. I appreciate you. Do not despair.